Hello everyone. I did my project on Alma Siedhoff-Buscher, who is a lesser-known designer, even though she did study at the famous Bauhaus, as you can probably guess from my title slide. Alma was born on January 4th, 1899 in Krustal, Germany. When she was younger, she did 11 years of school in Berlin. This was her pre-college, like middle school, high school things. And from 1917 to 1920, she studied at the Elizabeth School for Women in Berlin and Reimann School. And then from 1920 to 1922, at the Training Institute of the State Arts and Crafts Museum in Berlin. And then in 1922 to 1927, she studied at the Bauhaus at both the Weimar and Dessau campus. During her time at the Bauhaus, since she was there for about 5, 6 years ish, she enrolled in 1922 and she started by taking the preliminary courses like everybody else had to do. And since she was a woman, she was started in the weaving area, even though she did not really like it. So she eventually moved into the woodshop section, and she was actually supported by her teachers, George and Joseph, and she began to build a lot of really innovative things there. And then by the summer of 1923, the Bauhaus did their exhibition of Haus am Horn, and this was a very big thing for Alma, which I'll get to in a minute. And then in 1924, sadly, due to their exhibition, the Weimar campus closed, but they opened up a new one in Dessau. And so Alma continued at the Bauhaus in 1925 at the new campus, with some resistance from administration not really recognizing her. And then in the fall of 1927, she actually withdrew from the Bauhaus. She was influenced from a few different people, especially considering that she was a first generation student at the Bauhaus. She was very much influenced from the ideas that they were going off of. And then the Dutch founder of De Stijl, Theo van Doesburg, moved to Weimar and brought his influence to the school, and his ideas very much influenced what they were doing at the Bauhaus. She was also really influenced by these two people named Johann Heinrich Pestalozzi and an Italian physician named Maria Montessori. They both were very strong advocates for children learning by doing, and they were very interested in understanding the different personalized learning styles that people could have. So, the Bauhaus Exposition of Haus am Horn was their way of trying to show everybody what the school was doing. And it did not go well. They were very heavily criticized by the public, except for Alma's work in the nursery. She designed the kids' area and she debuted her multifunctional nursery, and it is now one of her most well known furniture pieces. It has a wardrobe, a changing table, a chest, and many different things. Even the changing table could turn into a writing desk. It was very multifunctional and meant to be moved around for children. And this is a quote from Alma, if you'd like to stop and read it. And after the debut of her work in the Haus am Horn, people were very interested in her things, and she began to actually sell her pieces by producing them at the Bauhaus. And she starts to get published in magazines and articles, and even her works are put into exhibits, and they're very highly praised. But the leader of the Bauhaus, Walter Gropius, refused to recognize her work, most likely because she was a woman, and he kind of tried to discourage her from continuing. But for a few years, she continued to use the Bauhaus to produce her furniture, and while she was at the school, she married an actor there, somebody that was in the theater program, Werner Siedhoff, which is where she got the other part of her last name, and they had a child together, and he was frequently moving locations, due to him being an actor. So this was making it very unstable for her there, and also Alma was very deeply affected by Gropius's negative judgment of her work, so that's why she decided to leave the Bauhaus. Her most known work are these building block pieces. She has the little shipbuilding game, the big shipbuilding game. She also has these throw dolls, but they were a little too creepy looking for me to add in here. But mostly children's toys that were very flexible for children was her main thing. And some highlights of her life: when she enrolled at the Bauhaus, she debuted her work, she started to get recognized and published, and then when she left the Bauhaus to finally leave and do her own thing. And so, from then until the present day, after she left the Bauhaus, she continued to do freelance work and was pretty successful in that. And even though Gropius tried to discourage her, he actually used Alma's work to enhance his own career without really giving her that much credit. And she sadly died at age 44 in a bomb attack during World War II. But her shipbuilding games and cutout kits were reintroduced in 1977 and started to gain her some popularity. But then she was forgotten again until an exhibition in Germany kind of contributed to her rediscovery. And then people started to realize what she did for children's furniture and children's design. And she's now one of the most successful women that came from the Bauhaus.